For centuries, the wolf has kind of walked this fine line between our nightmares and our deepest respect. It's this creature of paradox. We see it as a vicious killer, but also as this incredible symbol of wild, untamed freedom. So let's dive past the myths and find out who they really are. In this explainer, we're going to look right past the fangs and the folklore. We're going to uncover the wolf as a social architect, as the special forces operator of the natural world. And what you'll find is a creature that is so much more complex and fascinating than the stories ever let on. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to explore 5 key parts of their world. We'll start with their incredible social smarts and their hunting strategies. Then, we'll get into the real meaning of the pack and its surprisingly deep emotional core. And finally, we'll decode the language that lets them thrive pretty much anywhere on Earth.
Okay, let's kick things off with the very foundation of their power. And it's not about being the biggest or the baddest predator out there. No, it's something much, much more sophisticated.
Exactly. A wolf's real edge isn't a lion's raw power or a cheetah's explosive speed. It's their unbelievable endurance, combined with absolutely brilliant, coordinated teamwork. And there's no better place to see this in action than the art of the hunt. So, the wolf hunt. We often picture it as this chaotic, savage frenzy, right? Well, the reality could not be more different. It's a calculated, strategic operation. It's a masterpiece of collective intelligence, often waged against prey that's way bigger and faster than they are. It unfolds in 4 really distinct stages. First, detection. Their sense of smell is so powerful they can pick up a scent from kilometers away. Then comes observation. They don't just charge in. They might follow a herd for days, patiently looking for the old, the sick, or the very young. After that, it's the chase. And this is a marathon, not a sprint, designed to just exhaust their target. And finally, the coordinated attack. But get this, even with all that incredible strategy, their success rate is only about 10 to 20%. Just let that sink in. For every 10 hunts they go on, 8 or 9 of them fail. It just hammers home how incredibly difficult their survival is, and why every single part of their strategy has to be absolutely perfect. This teamwork is divided up with almost military precision. During a hunt, different wolves just know their roles. You've got your herders, whose job is to create panic and separate the target. You have path cutters, who sprint ahead to block off any escape routes. Then there are the ambushers, waiting at just the right spot. And finally, the finishers, usually the biggest, strongest adults, move in for the takedown. And the most amazing part? It's all coordinated without a single sound, just pure body language and deep intuition. And this selective way of hunting has this huge positive effect on the ecosystem. By weeding out the weakest animals, wolves basically act as natural doctors, making sure that the prey herds stay healthy and strong. They're not just predators, they're essential engineers of their entire environment. Now, this incredible cooperation during the hunt is only possible because of the social structure that is the foundation of their entire life, the pack. But our common image of the pack is, well, deeply flawed. Yeah, it's not some violent mob of rivals all fighting for dominance. A wolf pack is, simply put, a family. It's usually made up of a breeding pair, the parents, and their kids from several different years. It's a highly organized social unit, like a little nation, with its own laws, roles, and incredibly deep bonds. At the top of that family, you have the alphas. But you gotta forget this idea of a ruthless tyrant. The alpha pair doesn't lead through aggression. They lead through experience and wisdom. They are quite literally the mom and dad of the pack, and their number one job is the safety and well-being of their entire family. Right under them, you've got the beta wolf. The best way to think of the beta is as the pack's manager, the second in command. They are absolutely crucial for keeping the peace, stepping in to settle disputes, enforcing the rules, and a lot of times they lead the hunt if the alphas are busy with new pups. And at the bottom of the hierarchy is the omega. Now, they're often misunderstood as the scapegoat, but their role is so much more important. The omega is like the social stabilizer. They absorb the pack's tension and frustration, which actually prevents bigger fights. They're also often the most playful and act as babysitters and entertainers for the little ones. Okay, so now that we get the pack's structure, let's look at its emotional core. Because beyond all the rules and the hunting, there is a surprising and really profound capacity for feeling. And this is where you see these fascinating parallels to us. In our society, we value marriage, while wolves practice lifelong monogamy, with pairs often staying together until one of them dies. We talk about co-parenting. Wolves live it.
The entire pack, aunts, uncles, older siblings, all chip in to help raise the pups.
And their affection for each other is on display every single day. They lick each other's muzzles as a sign of respect and care. You'll see fully grown wolves playing together to relieve stress and strengthen their bonds. They huddle up to sleep for warmth and closeness. And that iconic group howl? That's not just a random call. It's a family song, a ritual of togetherness that says we belong to each other.
And this emotional depth seems to extend to loss. When a pack member dies, the group's behavior can change dramatically. They've been seen to stop hunting altogether, to howl in a way that sounds truly mournful, and even to keep returning to the spot where their family member died for days on end. It strongly suggests a capacity for what we can only really describe as grief.
So, everything we've talked about, the complex hunts, the social harmony, the deep emotional bonds, it's all held together by a really sophisticated communication system. And this, combined with their incredible resilience, makes them one of the planet's greatest wanderers.
Their language is this rich tapestry of signals. We always fixate on the how, but that only makes up about 35% of how they communicate. The vast majority, a full 45%, is completely silent. It's all body language. The rest is a whole vocabulary of barks, growls, and whimpers, and each one has a very specific meaning.
And this silent language is just incredibly nuanced. A high tail signals dominance, while a tucked tail shows submission. Ears pointed forward mean they're attentive. Pinned back shows respect. A direct stare is a clear challenge, while looking away is a sign of deference. They can have entire complex conversations without making a single sound.
And this blend of intelligence and communication makes them absolute masters of adaptation. I mean, they don't just survive, they thrive in some of the most extreme environments on the planet. We're talking about the freezing Arctic tundra at -40 degrees, the scorching Indian deserts, the dense forests of Siberia, and the high-altitude Himalayan mountains. They find a way to make it work.
So when you really look at the wolf, you realize its success as a species isn't just about being a powerful predator. It's the whole package. It's a combination of strategic intelligence, unbreakable social bonds, and a surprisingly deep emotional complexity that ties it all together.
They are architects of a complex society, brilliant strategists, and members of a deeply loyal family. Which leaves us with a final question, doesn't it? When we look at the world of the wolf, what reflections of our own world do we see? What can they teach us about the power of community, strategy, and family?